Hi, welcome to Solarflex. Join me as I lead you through a variety of stretching exercises in this first of our 3 DVD series that focuses on basic stretching. Not only will you improve your flexibility, we'll be able to also reduce muscle soreness as well as alleviate any minor aches and pains that you might be experiencing. To begin, roll out your mat, plug it in, adjust it to the desired heat setting, grab some water, keep it close by, and let's get started. Let's start by rocking your pelvis forward and back. By pressing your back into the mat, you'll feel your tailbone come up slightly, and then you'll feel your pelvis go back to a neutral position. Each time you rock your pelvis, you want to press that lower spine into the mat to feel the benefit of the infrared heat penetrate into your spine. Then give yourself a full body hug by lifting your head, neck, and shoulders up, drawing your knees into your chest, and just holding for a few moments, and then extending your body completely out with your arms by your side. And then we'll again bring those knees back into your chest, lifting your head, neck, and shoulders again, rounding that spine and feeling your back against the heat of the mat. And then inhaling and extending the legs out and the arms by your side as well. We'll do that again. Knees into your chest, head, neck, shoulders lift, breathing out as you come up, and inhaling as the legs move away from you. So as your head, neck, and shoulders drop down and those legs go back, you'll feel the heat of the mat penetrate. You'll now move your arms out to the side and want to go into our side twist. You're going to let those knees fall to your left side, and you're going to gaze towards your right side, looking at the extended arm, keeping your shoulders square to the ceiling and your chest open and wide. You're going to breathe in deep and feel the heat of the far infrared therapy deepen into your muscles to release those muscles and allow them to stretch. You'll then exhale and draw the knees back into the chest and let the knees fall over to your right side. As the knees fall over to the right side, you're going to look to your left at the opposing arm, trying to keep both shoulder blades against the mat so that you can again feel the heat. Allow those muscles to relax and release. Breathing in, bringing those legs back to the center. We're now going to exhale and go back to the opposite side one more time, allowing those muscles to stretch in the middle of your spine. This is a great exercise to help release those muscles in the side and in your lower back, allowing you to have a more flexible spine and allow yourself to really feel those muscles relax. One more to your right side, looking over to your opposite arm, breathing deeply, feeling that stretch and getting all the benefits of the heat of the mat as it penetrates into your upper body and your upper shoulders. Knees come back to the center. Breathe in. Take your hands by your side and draw your right knee into your chest and place the hands on top of the shin to pull that knee as close to your body as possible to allow that gluteal muscle to stretch, and allow those shoulders to gently press into the mat to get the benefits of the heat to penetrate in your shoulders. We'll do the same thing on our left side, drawing that knee again into the chest with the hands placed on top of the shin, being careful not to put too much pressure on that knee, and keeping the opposite leg completely extended throughout. And just relax and breathe deeply. We're going to do this one more time on each leg, bringing the knee into the chest again, hands on top of the shin, drawing it close to the body and keeping those shoulders on the mat. Feel the benefits of that far infrared therapy penetrate into your hips and your back and your shoulders. And one last one here on your left side, drawing the knee close to your body, hands on the shins, again being careful not to pull too hard on that knee. And then just relax and breathe deeply to allow those muscles to stretch. Now extend your left leg to the ceiling and flex your heel. Lower the leg down to the mat. Point your toe. Bring the leg back up and flex that heel again. Lower down. Point the toe. Exhale, raise it up and flex that heel again. This is our dynamic hamstring series. We're warming up that leg to get it ready to stretch the hamstring. Flexing that heel to the ceiling, pointing the toe, and then drawing the knee in towards your chest, gently holding the stretch. Bend the knee if necessary. The goal is to eventually get the leg as straight as you can and make sure that that left hip stays implanted against the mat to get the benefits of the heat to penetrate into that hip and allow it to radiate up the leg to relax the muscles. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite leg, flexing that heel, lowering that leg down towards the mat, pointing the toe, exhaling and raising it back up, and then flex the heel again, lower down, point the toe, raise the leg back up again, and pause and take a deep breath, lower the leg, point the toe, exhale, raise that leg back up, and then place your hands above the knee, not on that hamstring muscle itself. You want to gently bend the knee and straighten that leg as best as you can to be able to get the most out of that stretch for your hamstring. At the same time, you want to make sure that you're anchoring your hips against the mat and keeping those shoulders down so that you can again receive the benefits of the heat of the mat. We're going to do this again one more time on each leg. This time you should be able to feel that you'll gain a little bit more stretch because the heat that has been penetrating into your body from the far infrared therapy is allowing you to be able to generate a little bit more flexibility out of each leg. And in time, you'll be able to gain more flexibility and more mobility about your joints while practicing these exercises. These are hamstring stretches to stretch those muscles in the back of your legs. Beautiful stretches. Feels great, especially when you stand up, you'll feel more mobile. We'll now go into our side twist. You're going to take one knee, cross it over the body, placing the hand above the knee and reaching the arm in the opposite direction, gazing towards the extended arm and feeling that stretch and slight twist in your lower body and your lower back as your upper body maintains a center line to the ceiling. It's a beautiful stretch to stretch the lower back, releasing any tension in your back. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Hand comes to the outside of the knee. Pull the hip across the body. The arm extends out to the side. You're gazing in the direction of the arm. And you're keeping the shoulders pressed against the Solarflex mat to allow the heat to radiate through the upper body and the side of your body against the Solarflex mat to allow your muscles to relax. I'm going to do this again. Twisting towards one side, maybe getting a little bit more range out of this because every time we stretch, the muscles get a little bit more longer, especially with the benefit of the heat, allowing more circulation to go into that hip and back area. Again, going to your side, lifting your hip and bringing it over to the side, dropping the knee towards the floor, gazing in the direction of the extended arm, feeling yourself being able to go a little bit further as those muscles continue to relax. I'm going to go into our piriformis stretch where now you're going to take your right knee, turn it to the outside, and place the heel of that right foot in front of the knee on the left. Take your hands underneath the left leg and then gently bring the knee towards you. You're going to feel a stretch in the outer hip on the right side. This is your piriformis, one of those stretches that gives a lot of pain that's identical to sciatica, and the heat of the mat has been known to allow you to release that tension by allowing those muscles to release after being so tight from sitting very often. You're then going to cross the legs by bringing your right knee even further in front of that left knee and placing your hands on either shin. You'll lift your head, neck, and shoulders, gaze at your knees, and roll yourself back down to the mat. And as you do, you'll press gently down a little bit further as you gain a little bit more flexibility once the heat has penetrated into the lower body. This is a great stretch for tight hips, especially when you feel some low back pain in your lower back or in the sides of your body. It's the heat generated from the infrared therapy of the mat that allows those muscles to release and relieve some of that pain and soreness that's associated with so much sitting during the day. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, place your left heel in front of that knee. Hand goes underneath that right knee as you gently pull it towards you, feeling that stretch on the outside of your left hip now. Just relax. Sometimes this is a little painful stretch, but just hold and breathe deep and allow the heat to penetrate into the muscle and allow it to relax even further. Nice deep breaths in and out. And then you're going to cross the legs just like you did on the other side, bringing the knees closer together and placing the hands on top of the shins. Feel again a little bit of a further stretch into those tight hips. You'll then take a nice deep breath, exhale and lift your head, neck, and shoulders, and then allow your upper body to roll back down to the mat and gently press downward on those shins, going even further into that stretch to help relieve any tension and loosen up those hips. Nice deep breaths in and out. Let's place our feet back down on the mat now. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and lift your hips and torso off the mat as your arms reach downward towards your heels so your shoulder blades slide down your back. Then roll yourself back down one segment at a time through your back, feeling every vertebrae in your spine press into the mat to gain the benefits of that infrared therapy. And then again, rolling up, completely extending your hips so your body resembles a ramp here. And make sure your eye gaze is towards the ceiling so that you're not hyperflexing your neck as you go through the motion here. This is a fabulous exercise for your back because as you lift your torso off the mat, the back muscles engage to strengthen. The hips and thighs work to strengthen as well. And then when you're in that ramp-like position, your abdominal stretch and those tight hip flexors stretch, which helps alleviate low back pain. And then your arms by your side allow the shoulders to press down and keep lots of space between your shoulders and your ears, improving your upper postural movements as well. We're going to draw the knees into our chest, lift our head, neck, and shoulders, and stretch our spine here by allowing the knees to come close to you. And the head, neck, and shoulders coming off the mat allows you to rock back and forth so that we can rock ourselves up and take ourselves to an all fours position here, then lower ourselves down to the mat to get ready for our ab stretch. You're going to make sure that the legs are extended behind you, and as you inhale, pressing your palms into the mat, you're going to lift the torso, making sure the abdominals stay pulled inward and your shoulders are dropping down. Take a deep breath in here. And as you lower down to the mat, you're going to exhale, breathing out and drawing the abdominals in away from the Solarflex mat. Inhale, press your shoulders down, and allow yourself to lift up again, feeling those abdominal muscles stretch, yet at the same time the back muscles are getting stronger. Great exercise to relieve tension in the back, as well as eliminating any low back pain and preventing injury in the low back area. Feel the heat of the mat against your forearms. Feel the heat of the mat against your pelvis as you're lifting your torso up. So remember, press those palms down, lift up, keep the shoulders away from your ears, and be sure not to hyperextend your neck. Keep your head nice and straight, and then let yourself roll back down to the mat and draw your right heel in towards your buttocks, pressing your right hip down to the mat to stretch out the front of that thigh. Keep the abdominals pulled in, and then reach your right hand behind you. If you can, grab your ankle and pull it towards your buttocks to hold that stretch just a quick bit. Now draw your left heel into your buttocks, pressing the left hip down into the floor and reaching behind you to either grab the heel or the foot, or just reaching the arm back as you continue to press that left hip down into the mat. Forearms down on the mat, nice and square in your shoulders. Repeat this again. You should be able to pull it in a little bit more, flexing and pointing the toe to get a little bit calf work in here at the same time. Lower the leg down to the mat, breathe in, and on your exhale, you're going to push yourself up to all fours, drawing the knees underneath your body, and they should be directly under your hips, and your hands should be directly under your shoulders. Head's a nice extension of your spine. You're going to take a breath in, and on your exhale, you're going to draw the chin towards the chest and round your spine up, separating those shoulders, feeling as if you're pressing the Solarflex mat away from you and feeling the heat against the hands radiate up through the arms and through the shoulders. And then extending through your spine, but still maintaining an abdominal contraction so that you're not letting the belly pull too far forward to the mat. You want to hold that position and then breathe in again. And on your exhale, you're going to round that spine again. This is our cat and cow series, which is a wonderful stretch for your lower back as well as your spine and your abdominals. Your knees remain bent throughout, the arms remain straight throughout, and you're going back and forth from extending your spine to flexing and stretching your spine. Fabulous exercise to help reduce low back pain, more importantly, to relieve any tension that you might have been feeling in the low back area. The low back is a very vulnerable joint. We want to do everything we can to protect the lower back. Keep breathing deep. These are beautiful stretches. One more extension through your spine here. Breathe in. Exhale out. Another inhale. Draw the chin towards your chest. And on your exhale, you're going to round that spine again, and you're going to extend those arms directly out in front of you, sinking your hips towards your heels into our child's pose or little piece of heaven. Just relax here, feeling the shoulders press away from your ears, opening those arms and feeling the heat of the Solarflex mat and the benefits of the far infrared therapy happen here, and allow the muscles to relax. Your forehead is against the mat here as well, so you can even feel a little bit of nice warmth generated through your head as well. You're going to come back up to all fours, hands directly under your shoulders, curling both toes under. Breathe in. On your exhale, lift the knees off the mat and then shift your weight back till your head drops between your arms. Then straighten both legs and press your heels towards the floor as your tailbone reaches to the sky. Lengthen through those arms by pushing away from the Solarflex mat. Bend your knees if necessary. That can compensate for any hamstring inflexibilities that you might have or any tightness in the back of your legs. Just relax here and then bring your knees back down to the mat. Flipping your toes in this position, we're going to go back into our cat stretch, letting the head drop between the arms and sink back into your child's pose, and relaxing here, taking a nice deep breath as your spine stretches. Take a deep breath here and inhale, and exhale, and allow the body to stretch and relax. Breathe in again. Exhale and lift your hips up, back to all fours, toes under, knees lift. Shift the hip backs to your heels, head drops between your arms, and the tailbone reaches to the sky. You're in an inverted position here, and this position is known to relieve all the compression forces off the spine, all to promote a nice, healthy, and strong spine. And the heat of the mat penetrating from your hands up to your shoulders helps you do that. You're going to come to a seated position on the mat. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together, sitting upright, and then crossing your ankles, anchoring your hips on the floor to make sure you're on your sits bones, and then taking your right arm and reaching it up over your head and stretching to your left side. Pressing down on that right hip will help keep the hips in line as you're stretching to the side. We'll now take the left arm up and over, and as you gaze at the inside of your arm, you're also pressing down into that left hip to anchor both hips while you're stretching. These are your lateral side muscles that get very tight during the day, and this is a beautiful stretch that allows you to open up those muscles. And when you anchor that hip down to the floor, it allows you to open up more through your side, feeling yourself getting a lot more vertical and more elongated through your torso. It's a great feeling after sitting all day long in flexed positions. We're going to remain here and just stretch, breathing in and out, feeling those side muscles stretch and those hips anchor against the mat, feeling the heat from the Solarflex mat penetrate. Then bring the arms in front of your body, sitting upright, nice and tall. We're going to twist to your left side. We're going to pull that left shoulder blade back and then take your right arm and place it on the outside of your knee. That'll give you the ability to twist just a little bit further. Breathe in and out. Just relax. Hold the stretch and try to keep your torso as vertical as you can. Just keep breathing deeply. I'm going to now take a twist to your right side, pulling your right shoulder blade back, twisting, and now taking your left arm and putting on the outside of the knee, giving yourself the ability to twist a little further to your right side here, making sure both hips remain anchored on the mat. Nice deep breaths. Sitting as tall and vertical as you can. Just relax and enjoy the stretch. And let's twist again to our left side. Again, repeating what we did, and now having the ability to probably twist a little further because of the heat that is being generated from the Solarflex mat through your bottom all the way through the torso. Deep breaths, twisting back to your right side, right shoulder blade pulling back, left arm coming across the knee and gently twisting towards your right side and looking behind you. Sitting up taller each time you go through the stretch. Breathing in and breathing out. We're going to turn to the side here. We're going to extend both legs out in front of us, flexing your heels and extending your arms directly in front of your chest. You're going to take a breath in, and on your exhale, you're going to bring the knee into your chest, placing that foot flat on the mat, and then extending your left arm out in front of you, keeping the torso lifted, avoiding rounding your spine and bending that left knee if you need to. Feel that stretch in your hamstring, and keep the torso nice and straight. Switching legs and taking your left hand around the knee and now extending your right arm out. Flexing through that right heel, pressing through to elongate through that hamstring. Torso lifted nice and tall. Pressing those hips down into the Solarflex mat. Now extending both legs out in front of you, sitting on those hips, extending the arms, bending both knees, hinging forward from your hips for a little bit more hamstring flexibility. We're now going to roll down to the mat. Will you remain and relax in what we call corpse pose and just feel the beautiful heat and warmth generate through your body. Hi, welcome to Solarflex Release, Relieve, and Relive. Join me as I lead you through a variety of exercises designed to help you improve your core strength while also enhancing your flexibility and reducing muscle soreness as well as any minor aches and pains that you might be experiencing. To begin, roll out your mat, plug it in, adjust it to your desired heat setting, grab some water, keep it close by, and let's get started. Let's begin by lying flat on the Solarflex mat, making sure the ribs are on top of the hips, placing the arms by your side, sliding those shoulders away from those ears and feeling the shoulder blades against the heat of the mat. We're going to begin by nodding our head up and down, and then turning our head side to side to release any tension that might have accumulated in the neck. The neck can get very tight on a daily basis, and the heat that is generated from the Solarflex mat can help release some of that tension in your neck. So just gently nod up and down and then side to side to help eliminate any soreness or tightness in that particular area. Breathe in and exhale out. Continue one more time and then raise your arms to the ceiling. Flatten those shoulder blades down on the mat. Elongate through your elbow joint so you can lengthen through the arms and reach the fingers to the ceiling, feeling the shoulder blades come off the mat, and then press your shoulders down into the mat, feeling the heat, the infrared therapy penetrate into your shoulders to loosen up those shoulders and allow you to become aware of where those shoulders need to rest as they slide away from your ears and into place down your back. We tend to overshrug our shoulders to our ears daily, which causes tension in our neck. This helps relieve that. We're going to move into some pelvic rocks here. You're going to just tilt the pelvis forward and back. So you're going to feel that pubic bone move towards your chest, and you'll feel your abdominals hollow out. And then you'll extend your hips away from you, feeling your lower back extend here. And then again, exhale, pressing your ribs down into the mat, feeling your pubic bone come towards your chest, rocking the pelvis back and forth, releasing any muscle soreness, tension, or just giving you the ability to become more mobile in the pelvic area, which is going to alleviate any lower back pain along the way. We're going to move into a bottom pelvic lift. So you're going to lower the hips back to the mat, shift the weight over to your right side, lifting your right hip so that it's higher than the left, and then lowering down and skimming your hips along the Solarflex mat and lifting to your left side. So now your left side is higher than your right. Skimming back and forth again from your right to your left. As you're lowering down to the mat, feel the heat of the mat penetrate into the lower back, lifting up from side to side, keeping the abdominals contracted. This increases the mobility of your hip joint and reduces low back pain in the process. The infrared therapy allows for the heat to penetrate into that area and increase flexibility and mobility in your hip joint and your pelvis, allowing for more freedom of movement and reduction of low back pain. Bring the knees in towards your chest, knees, heels together. We're going to keep the heels together, lift the head, neck, and shoulders up to stretch your spine for a moment, and then open the knees, moving your legs away from you towards the mat. You'll draw the knees inward and back into your chest, keeping your lower back in contact with the mat the entire time. Repeating this for about 3 more times, creating this circular type of movement. I like to call this a butterfly. And keeping your hips against the mat so the benefits of your heat can penetrate and help release and relieve some of that tension in your low back area. As you reverse this movement, you're going to be moving the legs away from you and then pulling the knees into your chest. This will allow us to also strengthen that lower abdominal area, a problem area for many of us. This gives us the opportunity to create nice, strong abs, but yet at the same time, increase mobility and flexibility of the lower spine as well. Placing both feet onto the mat, let's separate the legs about hip width apart. Getting ready for our heel slide. We're going to lift the toes of your right leg, slide the right heel out. We're going to raise the leg to a 90-degree angle to our hip joint. Point that toe, lower the leg down to the mat, and repeat the heel slide again. So slide the heel in, push the heel back out, raise the leg up to the ceiling, and then point the toe and lower back down. We're increasing the dynamic motion of the hip joint here as we allow the pelvis to become stronger as well. Reaching out, lifting up, pointing the toe, lowering down, drawing the heel back in towards the buttocks, and resting the sole of the foot on that floor. One more time, lifting up towards the ceiling, pointing the toe, lowering the leg and sliding the heel back in. This also helps us increase the strength in our lower abdominal area. At the same time, we're gaining some active flexibility for the hamstring, mobility in your hip, and then release for your lower back because of the heat generated from the Solarflex mat. We'll continue this for a couple of more times, and after you finish this, you'll feel a lot more mobile and more flexible in that hip area. Drawing that heel back in close to the body. We're going to place the legs back down on the mat. Hands are by our side. We're now going to lift the hips, allowing ourselves to go into a bridge position. Only go as high as you're able to create a ramp-like position with your body. Raise the arms overhead. Bring the arms back, and then starting at the top of your spine, between your shoulder blades, start to press every segment of your spine into the mat till your tailbone is down. And then we repeat, breathing in as you exhale, curl that tailbone off the mat, peel your spine away from the mat till your body's in a ramp-like position and your hips are fully extended. Allow the arms to raise over your head, keeping the shoulders still. Bringing the arms back down and then rolling down to the mat, feeling the heat penetrate into every segment of your spine. Again, lifting your hips off the mat, coming up nice and tall and long. We want a nice long look to your body as the arms reach overhead. Bring the arms back, lower them to the mat, and then roll yourself back down to the mat again, releasing your pelvis, taking another breath. And on your exhale, we're going to roll the hips off the mat again, peeling your spine off the mat, lifting the torso, extending long through your hips, feeling the quadriceps reach over your knees, reaching the arms over your head, bringing the arms back down, and then beginning from between your shoulder blades, pressing every vertebrae of your spine back down into the mat. Taking your arms now out to the side, palms up, raise the legs to a tabletop position, and let the legs fall to your left side, and bring the right arm over to meet the left, and circle the right arm down by your hip out to the side, letting the torso open up and bringing the arm right back to meet the arm, so that we're creating this beautiful dynamic arm circle where the torso gets the opportunity to rotate and open up. When the arm comes back, make sure the shoulder is placed on the mat so that the heat from the Solarflex mat can penetrate into the upper torso area to allow those muscles to relax and relieve any tension that might have accumulated in the process. You're going to exhale as you draw the knees back to your center line. Take an inhale and let the legs fall to the right side now. And now let's repeat the process by bringing your left arm over to meet the right and allowing the arm to come by your hip, opening up the torso, rotating back towards your side, letting the arm come down by your hip and around out to the side. Again, making sure that left shoulder presses down into the mat each time, allowing the heat of the mat to penetrate into those shoulder muscles, allowing them to release and relax. Arm comes across the body again, circles down by the hip, opening up the arms again, taking a breath in here, exhaling, drawing the knees back to the center line, and then placing the feet on the mat, separating the feet to about hip width apart. Place both arms on opposite shoulders. Breathe in, and on your exhale, you're going to curl your torso off the mat, clearing the shoulder blades, and then rolling yourself back down to the mat as you inhale. Repeating that abdominal curl again. Exhaling, dropping the chin to the chest, lifting the head, neck, and shoulders, and then rolling back segment by segment back down onto the mat. To progress and make this a little bit more difficult, you can extend the arms from the chest. Same movement, lifting up to clear the shoulder blades off the mat, lowering back down to the mat, keeping the arms still. Just move from the torso, drawing your rib cage down, pulling the ribs inward so that the lower back can press down into the mat as you lift up. With stable shoulders, repeat and roll up. Pause, hold, take the arms to your ears, now reach them out to the side, then bring them forward, and then roll yourself back down to the mat. And we'll repeat this again by drawing the chin to your chest, rolling up, reaching the arms to your ears, taking them to the side, pulling the arms toward the center, come up a little bit higher, and roll yourself back down one segment at a time. Awesome. One more breath. Bring the chin to the chest, roll up, opening those arms to your ears, to the sides, to your legs, and then roll back down and notice how much more overload was taken to those abdominals as you took the arms and limbs away from the center. Draw the knees in, lift your head, neck, and shoulders for a quick little low back stretch here. Then we'll transition over to our side, lengthening your body along the back of the mat, stacking your hips on top of one another, lifting your rib cage away from the Solarflex mat, and taking your top leg, extending it out in front of you, trying to keep that knee off the floor. You're going to pull and draw the bottom leg in towards your chest and then extend it to a straight knee. You're going to exhale as that knee comes into the chest and inhale as you reach it long. We're flexing the knee, pulling it into the chest, and then extending the knee joint and the hip, lengthening the leg long and away from you. Keep those abdominals contracted, keep your torso stable as the legs moves in towards the body and away. This is a great core strengthener, and at the same time as you're drawing that knee in towards your hip, feel the warmth of the Solarflex mat penetrate into that side hip. Transitioning to a prone position now for our swan. You're going to roll the shoulder blades down and back with your palms down, elbows by your side. Breathe in and lift your torso off your mat, keeping the shoulders away from your ears, and then exhale and lower back down to the mat, keeping those abdominals pulled inward. Breathe in again, lift the torso away. Nice long neck, long legs, exhaling as you lower back down to the mat. And then reaching both arms directly out in front of you, press the palms into the mat, draw the shoulders down and away from your ears as you lift the torso, and then exhale as you lower the torso back down, keeping your pelvis in contact with the mat. Repeat that again, feeling your hips press down as your torso lifts away, and feel the heat of the Solarflex mat penetrate into your hips. Raise both legs simultaneously as the arms remain extended over your head, lifting from the center of your thigh in the back of the leg, lengthening those legs and focusing on that length rather than just focusing on lifting. That'll help increase the flexibility in your legs as well. Lift yourself up to all fours, draw the knees directly underneath your hips, round your spine up, sit your hips back to your child's pose to release the spine and rest for a moment here. Press the palms into the mat, allow the heat from the Solarflex mat to penetrate and help relieve any tension from some of the exercises that we just did, as well as letting your body relax in this beautiful position. We're now going to transition to the other side and repeat what we just did by lengthening yourself out along the mat. Again, stacking those hips on top of one another and extending your top leg out in front of you, keeping room between your knee and the mat, keeping the rib cage lifted, sliding your knee in by bending it in towards your chest and extending it long by extending your knee and pulling it in. Always check to make sure that the hips are right stacked on top of one another to gain the benefit of this wonderful core exercise. Feel the heat press into the side of that thigh to help increase oxygenation as well as blood circulation into that hip area, which is all caused by the heat of the Solarflex mat. I'm going to draw the knee into the chest one more time, extending the knee out and lengthen. Then pull the knee forward. Take the top leg behind you and draw the thigh close to the sole of the front leg. sitting up as tall as you can in our seated mermaid position. We're going to stretch over to our right side, lifting that left arm right by your ear and gazing at that inner elbow to get a nice long stretch while you're trying to sit down on that opposite hip. Reverse and take that stretch to the other side, again lengthening through the arm, and feel the whole side of your body stretch. As you reach the arm up, pull the shoulder blade down to get as much opposition from reaching upward and pulling downward into your hip to get as much length as we can in the sides of those torso. As we stretch to the other side, we're going to add some rotation by turning your body to the side and pushing your arms away from the mat, and then lengthening and reaching back over to the other side. So re-stretching laterally, but then coming back and adding some rotation to enhance those rotator muscles in your torso. Come back to the other side again, reaching up and long, stretching those lateral muscles. Feel them become a lot more elongated. Now twisting behind you to rotate to the opposite side, and then come back and rotate back towards your right side, then back again to your left. I'm going to switch to the other side. Bringing your left leg in front, your right leg bends behind you, arms extend out to the side. We're going to reach that right arm up and over and stretch laterally to your side. And then reach over to the other side, stretching over to your right, lengthening through the left side of your body. Coming back to stretch over to your left side, stretching through the right side of your body, and back again to the opposite side. And now lifting up, stretching and adding that rotation, pushing the palms away from the Solarflex mat, and then lifting the arm up, stretching back to the opposite side, coming back again, rotating again, pressing away, feeling the heat of the mat, energize your arms and rejuvenate your body. Stretching back to your left side, and then rotating to the right side. Coming back to the left, rotating to the right, and then bringing yourself to a crisscross position with both ankles crossed in front. Sitting on those sits bones, sitting as high as you can, breathe in and now tuck the tailbone underneath you as you roll back slightly, curling the abdominals inward and then lifting and extending your spine, lifting the chest upwards and opening up, and then rocking back and forth as you roll through these glorious pelvic tilts. And as you roll back, feel that heat penetrate and rejuvenate the pelvic area, while at the same time helping to loosen up those muscles and relieve any aches and pains that you might have. Taking a twist here to your left side, reaching the arms up and over, stretching over to your right side, lifting the arms up and over and stretching again over to your left, back up and over to your right side, arms out to the side, taking a nice twist to your right, then to your left, curling back down, pulling the abdominals in, and then extending through your spine, growing taller, and rocking back, tucking the tail beneath you. Inhaling, lifting and creating a more vertical spine, and going back and forth, ending with this wonderful exercise that helps you enhance the flexibility of your pelvis and abdominal area. Hi, and welcome to Solarflex. Join me as I lead you through 2 short workouts designed for both the morning and evening that you can choose to do together or independently of one another. These workouts were designed to help improve your flexibility, your core strength, relieve any muscle soreness or any minor aches and pains that you might be experiencing. To begin, roll out your mat, plug it in, adjust it to your desired heat setting, make sure you have some water nearby, and then let's get started. We're going to begin with our pelvic rocks. So you're just going to rock your pelvis forward and back, exhaling as you draw and curl the tailbone up and off the mat, and inhale as you release it. And from these pelvic rocks, we're going to start to lift the torso, just the bottom portion of your torso, till it hovers over the mat, and then you're going to roll back down, releasing your tailbone away from you. As you roll up, peel your spine up as if it were a string of pearls, and then roll back down, dropping each pearl back into the mat, feeling the heat generate through your spine and warm up the pelvic muscles. Lifting up, we're not going to full extension here. We're just coming just a little ways up, just to take a little bit more of an exaggeration to those pelvic rocks. A nice warm up for the hip and lower back area. Now we're going to open that left leg to the side. Straighten the leg out in front of you, rotate the hip back, draw the heel in, and again, let the leg fall open to the side. Straighten it out, rotate it and pull that heel back in. This is a great hip opener, and feel the heat of the mat press into the side of your leg to allow it to loosen up and release any tension or tightness. Right leg now opens. Extend the leg, rotate the hip, slide the heel back in. Again, reaching long, rotating back in, pulling the heel back in, dropping the hip, extending the knee, lift, and then pull it back towards the center of your body. Now exhale and draw the knees into your chest, lifting the head, neck, and shoulders off the mat, and then lowering your feet back down to the mat, as well as the head, neck, and shoulders. This is a beautiful body fold. The first few will be with bent knees, and then we're going to progress to a full body fold by bringing the knees into the chest and extending the legs all the way out in front of you. Legs come in contact with the mat, feeling the body flex and extend, and now moving into your double leg stretch. We're going to reach both arms and legs simultaneously away from the center of the body. Exhale and draw it all back to the center line. Notice how the arms don't go any further than the ears. And if you have any hamstring limitations, notice how you can just straighten the legs up to a 90-degree angle rather than extending all the way out from your hips. Opening up the hips, bringing the soles of the feet together. We're getting ready for our diamond ab curl. Crossing opposite arm and opposite shoulder. Curl the torso off the mat. Roll yourself back down. Exhaling as you lift. Inhaling as you go back down. Again, breathing out as you lift, clearing the shoulder blades, rolling back down. To make this a little harder, let the arms come behind your head, keep the elbows wide. This adds a little bit more progressive overload, but also allows for the shoulder area to get a little bit more benefit from the heat. Twisting over to your right side, both legs twist, crossing the arms over your shoulders. Lift the head, neck, and shoulders up as you curl into this twist abdominal curl, benefiting the oblique muscles. Again, adding progressive overload, placing the hands behind your head, adds and recruits more abdominal fiber, making the exercise a little bit more challenging. Bringing the knees back to the center. Let the hips roll over to your right side, placing your hands again on top of the shoulders. Breathe in, exhale, lift the torso off the mat. Try to clear the shoulder blades off, and then feel the upper torso roll back to the mat, placing your hands behind your head to increase the overload to the abdominal area, feeling the heat penetrate into the shoulders to allow the muscles to relax and rejuvenate. We're going to transition over to our side. We're going to come up to our elbow, placing the elbow directly underneath the shoulder, lifting from the center line of your body, legs extended out. You're going to draw the knee to the chest and extend it away from you, then lower it back down, lifting, pulling in, extending, and lowering, maintaining straight and aligned hips, keeping the hips stacked on top of one another, and pressing the elbow away from that Solarflex mat to allow the core muscles to lengthen. Transitioning to a prone position, letting your elbows come in contact with the mat, legs extended behind you. Take a breath in. We're going to inhale and lift to our Sphinx position, raising the torso up and then exhaling to lower back down. As you lift the torso away, draw the shoulders down your back, press your elbows and forearms into the mat to gain benefit from the far therapeutic heat of the Solarflex mat, generating that heat throughout the whole upper torso, from the elbow to the wrist, to the shoulder, to the neck. Transitioning to all fours, drawing the knees directly underneath your body. Press away from the floor, round your spine, drawing the head between your arms into a beautiful cat stretch. And then lengthening back to a nice extended position through your spine. And then rounding up again to stretch out the lower back and stretch out the shoulders as well. And going back to your extension. And then transitioning to the other side, propped up on your elbow, side lying, aligning the hips, stacked on top of one another, raising the leg, pulling the knee into the chest, extending it out and lowering, keeping those abdominal muscles pulled in, and the torso, the right side of your torso, pulled away from the mat throughout the exercise. Great exercise for the core and the benefit of strengthening those legs at the same time. Transitioning back to an all fours position, drawing the knees underneath you. We're going to take a breath in and exhale, round your spine up one more time. Lengthening through, back to your cow position, extending through your spine, rounding up again into cat stretch, back into extension, feeling those muscles elongate as you stretch. Feel the shoulders stretch as well. And now look over your left shoulder and bend sideways, bringing the left hip towards you. And then do the same to the right side, laterally flexing your spine. It's as if you were wagging your tail that you don't have, creating a really nice stretch and contraction for the torso side muscles called east-west. And now let's round the spine back into cat, curl the toes under, lift the knees off the mat, shift your weight back. Send your tailbone to the sky as your heels press to the floor and walk your hands to your feet. Bring your torso closer to your body, bending your knees. Take a breath, and on your exhale, roll up segment by segment until you're completely upright. Then, as if your back were against a wall, draw the chin to the chest and roll yourself down, segment by segment, vertebrae by vertebrae, walking your hands out along the mat, back to all fours. Taking a breath and going back into your cat stretch, stretching those upper back and upper shoulder muscles, sinking back to your heels, reaching the arms in front of you for child's pose, hands underneath the shoulders, rounding up, lifting the knees off the mat, shifting the weight back, hips high to the sky, heels to the floor, walking your hands back to your feet, letting your head completely drop, feet together. Bend your knees, roll yourself up. Straighten those legs as you come to your upright position. And then bring the chin to the chest again as you draw the abdominals and rib cage into your body. Roll down, bending your knees slightly, walking your hands out along the mat, coming back to an all fours position, shoulders directly over your hands, rounding up to cat, curling the toes, flexing through your spine, allowing the spine to completely stretch. Coming back to that inverted position by curling the toes under, shifting the hips back, hips to the sky, heels to the floor, feet come together, walking your hands to your feet, chest to thighs, head down. Roll yourself up, one segment at a time. Take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. And you're done. Let's begin the PM portion of this exercise, twisting sideways to your left side, pulling that left shoulder behind you, and then doing the same to the right side, pulling the right shoulder blade behind you. Come back to center, take another twist, exhaling into the twist, extending both arms and coming back to the center, folding the arms again and twisting to your right, extending the arms and coming back to the center, folding the arms, and then reaching up, stretching laterally to your side, pressing that right hip down into the mat, and then rotating forward to get a little rotation, lifting the arm back up into your lateral side stretch, and going to your right side, stretching sideways, breathing in, then exhale, rotating forward, coming back to stretching over your head, and coming back to the center and laterally stretching to your left side. Rotating again, bringing back to your lateral side stretch, coming back up through the center, and then transitioning to your right side, back to your rotation forward, laterally flexing to the side, feeling the heat penetrate into your hips on the mat, and then transitioning yourself to all fours with the knees directly under your hips, the shoulders directly over your hands, round up into cat stretch, and then go into cow by extending through your spine and allowing your head to remain in a natural extension of your spine, and going back through cat and cow a few more times. Rounding up, shifting your hips back to your heels. Breathe in, and as you exhale, you're going to lift your hips off your heels, rounding your spine, bringing your shoulders over your arms, sneaking the head out, and hovering down over the floor as if you're doing a tricep push-up back to where your hips go towards your heels, and then round your spine up again, sneaking your head through and bending your elbows, and as you exhale, push yourself up, shift the weight all the way back, remaining in a C curve the entire time. Exhaling as you come through, inhale, exhale, lower, press up, reach back, shift the hips back, taking a breath in, exhale, lift your hips up, round your spine and lower down to the mat, push yourself up again, shifting your hips all the way back, and then lifting up, going back and forth with this beautiful upper body strengthener. Tail goes to your heel, and one more time as you come through, bending your elbows, pushing off the mat, rounding back, taking a breath, and then getting ready for a nice stretch. Take your right arm, rest the shoulder underneath your body. Your eye gaze goes in the direction of your right arm, and just breathe and feel that wonderful far infrared therapy. Gently press into that shoulder and allow the muscle tension to disappear. Repeating on the other side, taking your left arm through. We call this thread the needle. Letting the shoulder press as closely to the floor as you can get it, and allowing the heat to penetrate into that shoulder area, loosening up all of those tight muscles. Let's release the arm back in front, back into all fours, back into a slight cat stretch, but then transitioning to a seated position with your legs about hip width apart, knees are bent, and your hands underneath your thighs. You're going to start to roll back. When the arms straighten, exhale, pull yourself upward from your abdominals, and then lengthen through your spine. Repeat rolling back. Once the arms are straight, exhale, draw through the abdominals and sit yourself up nice and tall. And again, rolling through, arms straight. Use those abdominal muscles to pull you up, using the arms only if you need to. Rolling back as you inhale. Exhale, draw those belly muscles in towards your spine, and then taking the arms away and reaching them out in front of you, twisting towards your left side, drawing that left arm behind you, rotating back to the center and sitting up tall. Rotating back to your right side. Exhale, draw it back to the center, and go to your left side again. Exhale, bring it back to center, to your right side, rolling back. Great oblique strengthener. And with the hips against the Solarflex mat, we generate more warmth to the hip area. Let's roll all the way down to the mat. Hands by your side, bending both knees. Let's take the legs to tabletop position. Hands will extend out to the side, palms down. Breathe in. You're going to let the knees fall halfway only to your left side. Then, as you exhale, you're going to draw those knees towards the center using the muscles on the right side of your waistline to bring them back to center, then allow them to fall to the right side. As you exhale, pull the knees back to center using the muscles on the left side of your waistline. So your hip drops halfway down only. Exhale, press your spine into the mat as you guide those legs back to center. Legs fall to the right, inhaling. Exhaling, using those muscles on the opposite side. As you're doing this exercise, you can feel how the heat is helping you allow the muscles on the opposite side of the spinal column to bring those legs back to your center. Again, loosening up your hip joint and the waistline in the process. Over to your left side. Exhale, draw the legs back to center. Inhale to the right. Exhale, pull those legs back. And then bring your hands by your side. Lower the legs to the floor. Legs are hip width apart. Breathe in. And as you exhale, you're going to curl the tailbone off the mat and bring your body to a bridge position like a ramp. Lower yourself back down to the mat, aligning your spine with the Solarflex mat, releasing your pelvis back to that nice natural position, and then rolling back up again using the back of your arms to press down into the mat and feel the heat generate through that as well. Feel how much more range of motion you gain as the heat penetrates into those muscles. Raising high, feel the muscles in the legs as you shift your weight over to your right side, keeping your hips level. Come across to the center and then go to your left side, shifting those hips, but not allowing either one of your hips to drop. You're just going side to side. Roll yourself back down to the mat. Release your spine back to that natural balanced position. Roll yourself back up into your bridge. Inhale. As you exhale, shift the hips over to the right side, keeping the hips level. And then inhale, bring it back to center. Shift the hips to your left side, back to center, and then roll yourself back down to the mat. These are called our pelvic shifts. Now extend your right leg out in front of you. Straighten the left leg to the ceiling. Rotate the hip outward and then rotate the right hip inward. Cross the leg over the midline of the body. Create a circular pattern with that leg, continuing this motion. Exhaling as you cross the midline, inhaling as you move away. Being sure to create the same diameter circle and feeling the heat of the mat press into the pelvic area and your hip, loosening up that hip joint, and then reversing the circle and going the other way. While you're doing this exercise, try to minimize the movement in the pelvic area on the other leg because this exercise helps improve pelvic stabilization. Bend the knee, extend your left leg out in front of you, and now raise the right leg up, and then rotate that hip outward as your left hip rotates in. Circle across the midline of the body, exhaling as it crosses over, inhaling as it moves away. Again, trying to maintain the same diameter of the circle with every repetition and maintaining minimal movement in your pelvic area. Concentrate and focus on how the heat from the mat radiates through that hip into the entire leg. Reverse your circle, go the opposite direction. Inhaling as the leg moves away from you, exhaling as the leg comes towards you, maintaining the same diameter of the circle, keeping pelvic stability throughout. Bend your knee. Bring both knees into your chest. Take both arms around the outside of your knees and give yourself a little body hug. Let the arms reach out to the side, palms down. Extend your left leg and then twist your body towards your left side, extending your right leg out straight as you can. And then raise the leg back up to the center, bending the right knee, pulling the left knee in beside it, and then twist towards your right side, and then extend your left leg. Flex the heel. Point the toe and reach the leg back to the center, bending both knees and now taking a twist over to your left side with both legs, and then extending the right leg as best as you can. This exercise allows us to generate length through the leg, torso twisting through the rotator muscles of your body, so that the lower body can enhance its ability to turn from side to side, a very vital function that we do every day in our lives. The heat of the mat loosens up the hips, allows more oxygen and blood to circulate to allow for better mobility in your hips and thighs. And let's just finish here in a body hug.